This is a Steris Harmony LED585. Most of the Steris lights are pretty much the same. So the troubleshooting, one working, one not working. Display's only showing one. There's your control panel. Comes off with just loosen the screws on the top and the bottom of the case. See them right here. Loosen just to pull this off, and there is one cable. Goes right there. Place off to the side. And I have this one pulled apart because I need to pull the power supply. So these are your power supplies. And Steris has different voltages for different heads. You usually got to call them the serial number to get that code. Anyway, they say 24 volt. It's not 24 volt. It's also not these screws right here. It's generally this Molex connector, right? See this guy? That fitting right there. That's when you got to check for your DC. So I got 120 AC up here, and usually somewhere in the realm of 24 volts DC on that, on this little white square Molex connector. Top and bottom hot and neutral. There you go. This one specifically is 19.43. When I got this code back in 2019, I wrote it on here. I'm smart. Somebody else replaced this one and did not. So these are a non-working one. Screws are on the back. So to remove this, it's generally just 4 bolts holding in place. 1, 2, what are we at here? See that whole hole, 3 and 4. It goes off earlier. Pull this thing out. Here you've got your cables going to your light heads. This is your power in. Down here you'll see, here are some terminal blocks. Everything's wired into. So generally what we find is having to adjust that voltage. Remember I said it was. Now the adjustment pot is in this hole. You just need a little Phillips screwdriver to reach in there. Well, you can see that. Try to zoom in here. Seems I cannot. Alright. Right there is your potentiometer. Just that. Make it leads in here. And at some point you'll see the light come on. So, to work on this, sometimes you have a switch back here you can use to power it on and off. See? This one we didn't have a switch when I did it, so I just hardwired it. So I'm going to pull this power out. Already disconnected it. Put the caps back on. You're welcome to go find the breaker panel. Disconnect power that way and then start unwiring things. Generally it's a lot easier to work on laying down on a table or something, but there we go. So we're going to pull this power supply out and I'll show it to you. So here we are. I pulled the 4 screws, the corners, lift that off. Here's the inside of your power supply. There's the potentiometer I was talking about for adjusting output DC voltage. Fan. Up here's your AC input. Odds are these fuses are blown. This customer told me electricians were doing some work, contractors somewhere in the building, and power went out. When it came on, only one light worked. So more than likely, those 2 fuses are blown. Now I want to look at the inside of the board for any burn arcing marks. So I got to pull these screws out. These are what's holding in your transistors. Same on this side. And here we go. Make sure you're grounded. Didn't show you guys that part, but I want to make sure you're somehow grounded. Send any static electricity before you touch this board, or you're going to cause more damage. We're trying to fix. Alright, see what's going on here. Pretty dirty. Look at that. See the dark marks right there? Yeah, some resistors right there. Those might be my problem. Or it could be a secondary thing. That's what our multimeter is going to check. Now, I get continuity, but the resistance reading I'm getting is in the kilo ohms, and it's rising repeatedly, which tells me either its cap hasn't discharged yet, any one of these. It's a very weird reading. I mean, the only real way to know is to take it out of the circuit. I mean, obviously, if you test it in the circuit and it says OL, it's blown. But just because it's in a circuit and doesn't say that doesn't mean it's good, because it could be pulling continuity from somewhere else. So ultimately I gotta take this back to the shop, desolder these resistors to check them. You could also read the rings. I mean, I'm like 22,000 ohms. You know, take a look at your old resistor chart if you remember it, you know. Was it bad boys, rape our young virgins, but Violet gave willingly? So you can figure out what the rating on this is. For sure it's not in the thousands. We'll see. I'll check those fuses out as well. But currently, we have AC power into our power supply and nothing coming out, which tells me it's bad.